What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another match preview. Arsenal against Manchester City, the champions of England. Who better to bring on than Mr. Man City himself? Big Steve, how are you, bro?
Spot on, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. And before we start, you've got a channel now, haven't you? YouTube channel. I will put that in the description for anyone who wants to subscribe.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, it's early days. Obviously, you know me, I'm not technically minded, so the big six boys have been looking after me and holding me hand a bit and getting me going. So we're starting off slow with it, but I've had a great response. Loads of nice comments and stuff. And I had a full day yesterday down at AFTV doing various things for people. And yeah, I'm enjoying it at the minute. It's good.
Yeah, it's good, man. Onwards and upwards. Listen, you know there's only one place we can start. Obviously, at the time of recording this, it isn't a done deal, but looks like it's going to happen. I saw you yesterday at AFTV, and we were saying, oh, man, Ronaldo. I was excited because I wanted to see him back in the Prem, but him being at Man City was where I wanted to see him if it wasn't Arsenal, of course, which we're never in the race. But now he's going to Manchester United, man. Like, the Man United fans are going crazy. What do you make of it?
Well, I said yesterday, didn't I? To be fair, I can't see it happening. The only thing I was in for the transfer was the banter of it, because the meltdown at Old Trafford yesterday and the fans that were calling him a snake and burning the shirt and saying he's finished and you're getting our has-beens and all that, that's all been forgotten about now. But I just think the agent and certain press outlets have played a blinder, because they've used City's name saying that, oh, it's done, this is linked to this, that, and the other, knowing very well that the press conferences are today, so the managers are going to speak. And then, you know, I just never seen it. I just don't know why Ronaldo would come back to Manchester to sign for City when he's loved at United, and everything about United is Ronaldo. Like I say, they have a weird obsession with him that he's only on loan and stuff like that. So I never seen that coming. I just thought if that happens, he's turned into the biggest like WWE style enemy then that could possibly happen. But it's another one that goes against the grain of City. You know what I mean? We don't sign players of that age. We don't throw big money at them. But then I thought, part of me was thinking in my brain, you know, imagine if they get this done. If they do, it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to the Kane thing. You know what I mean? Because why all of a sudden, with 5 or 6 days going to the transfer window, does Ronaldo want to come to City? Why? A player of that ilk, you'd be on him from day one. So, you know, I don't know. It's in my head, it was never coming. You know what I mean? The banter that I had yesterday was hilarious. I had them all on strings yesterday. Now they're all messaging me back saying, oh, you're in the mud, you're not getting Ronaldo. It's like, we never was getting Ronaldo. But this has happened to Man United before. The press used Man City for Maguire. City pulled out. They paid well over the odds for Maguire. They've done it with Fred. They paid well over the odds with Fred. And they've done it with Alexis Sanchez. They thought they got one over on us with Alexis Sanchez. Always chose Man United. We walked away. And look what happened. And then it's just come out on Sky saying Ronaldo fancied the City move. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's one thing for certain. I don't think we was ever in the race. You know what I mean? And United have obviously stepped in today, seen an opportunity and took it. I mean, does he make them a great team? Not at his age. You know, is he a good player? Of course he is. I think they've just been basically forced into a transfer they don't really need. We need a striker. They don't need one. They've grabbed him. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's just a bit of a strange one all around, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, looking at United, I know they tried to play Martial through the middle. I don't think he's really answered any questions. And Cavani's 34. So, what I think's happened, like you said, I think Mendes has realised he wants out. There's no interest in him. He's thrown it all over the place. He's going to City. And Man United have just said, we just can't let that happen. So they've just put the offer in and bought him, where you probably, because Pep, I don't know if you've seen the press conference, he was talking as if there was never any interest in him.
Well, that's what a lot of people use City's name as leverage. He's basically, he's not going to disrespect Ronaldo and say, we don't want Ronaldo because it's disrespectful to Ronaldo. So looking at that press conference, he did it in the best and without being tasteless. He did it, you know, nice and gracefully. He basically said he's a great player. He can demand where he wants to go in the world, blah, 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 blah. I was listening to the guy on Sky Sports then, and he's a United fan, and he said he understood that City was offered him, and a few people there looked at it, but they never followed through on it, which I can see that. But at the end of the day, we're in desperate need of a striker. We've got to have something up our sleeve, got to. I know that we signed the Brazilian youngster Kai from Fluminense, and he was supposed to come in January, and we've actually paid up some extra money early, and he's coming now. So I don't know if they've got plans for him, but we need a striker. I mean, it's just one of them mad things. I can't, you know, when you know yourself, when you get, I could see Harry Kane signing because I could see that happening, and then, but with Ronaldo, I just never could see it. I just can't picture that. He's a red. He's like a legend. It's like Aguero doing that to us, coming back to Manchester, going to them. It just doesn't sit right because I don't know. It just doesn't sit right. If you come into the same city, why would you go to the rivals of the team you're a legend at? Just doesn't ring right to me. You know what I mean?
You know, from my point of view, just moving on from Ronaldo, looking at City, to me, it's just screaming out that get the striker and you're well on your way. That's all you really need. Maybe a left back. But when you've spent 100 million on Grealish and don't buy Harry Kane, is there part of you sitting there thinking, we should have maybe paid that bit extra for Harry Kane, even if it meant not getting Jack Grealish?
Do you know what, though? I don't think we know what's going on. You've noticed it in the last 24 hours, right? The journalists and the agents have had the whole football world scrambling about. City signed this contract. Ronaldo's had a proposal. Nobody's got a clue. It's a load of nonsense. I just looked at it before and I thought, you're better off turning your phone off and listening to none of it until the managers speak. We need a striker. We definitely need one. We won't win the Premier League without a striker. We're not going to struggle in the Premier League, but we won't win one. We won't win the Champions League without a striker. That is facts. Whether January they go out and they get Haaland, then we can all look back and go, that's why they didn't sign Kane. That's why they didn't sign Ronaldo. But if they don't, I don't know what the plan is. You know what I mean? And the issues with the left back, who's now in strange ways, that's causing the shit, mate. You know what I mean? We're right in the shit. It's unbelievable that. It's unbelievable. So we're left with 4 days of the window to go, 5 days of the window to go. We need a left back and a striker, you know. So we're going to have to do something.
I think the one good thing with City, you know, you've got the money, but it's just, I think you look at it, you think, well, no Kane, no Haaland at the moment. Looks like Haaland might not happen in this window. Mbappe's probably going to go Madrid. There's no name that's like jumping out where you think, well, they're going to get him. You know, whoever you sign, it might be a bit underwhelming to City at the moment.
This is the problem because obviously we lost our greatest ever striker in Aguero. Now we need to replace him. And if you look at a transfer window where Messi and Ronaldo have both changed clubs and you've not been in the race for him, I think the Messi deal took us by surprise because we just signed Grealish.
Yeah.
This is why part of me thinks they've got to have something lined up. I don't know what it is, but they've got to have something lined up. We can't go in like this. I know Pep comes out and says, oh, we're doing all right and I'm happy with my squad. He says that all the time, but he can't be happy with his squad. You can't. We won the league last year with no striker, basically. You're not going to do that this year for me. You're not.
Yeah.
So it is frustrating from a City point of view, especially a lot of the younger ones that buy into the transfers and they've been rattling the United fans and now they're all upset and all that. It was never... The amount of them people that have messaged me and gone, what do you think? And I've just messaged them back going, he's not going to sign for us. It's not going to happen. It's not even anyone over the age of about 16 knew that deal was going to happen. Realistic. If you're blue, you know that Ronaldo, what he means to them, it ain't going to happen. So it is what it is. They're getting Ronaldo. They're getting a good player. You know, he's going to a club where he's loved and respected. So he's going to be a hero there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes sense. Imagine if you come to City, you're going to get 50% of that crowd who are like, we don't want him. So then he's got to hit the ground running because he's getting the pressure. If he doesn't, they're going to say he's past it. So it's not an ideal situation for him. He goes to Man United and puts in 10 games where he stinks the joint out, still be singing his name because they love him. It's a win-win to go there. You know what I mean? That's why I could say I thought he's going to go there. If you want to live in Manchester, he's going to play for Man United. The pressure's off. He's not going to come to Man City where they're always going to class him as a red, because he'd have to do something to endear himself to the Blues. You know what I mean? I don't think he does that. Yeah,
no, it's a crazy one. This transfer market's been crazy, man. Do you know what? There was a little story the other day linking you with Aubameyang. I don't know if the press are just throwing names out there. I saw that story. They were kind of implying that City might buy a short-term striker to get Haaland next summer because he's got this release clause that kicks in next summer. I think you can get him for about 70 million. Could you see City going for maybe an Aubameyang for a year?
If we were skint and we didn't have the money to get Haaland now, then I don't understand why you won't buy Haaland now. Why do you not go in and give him one? Even if you give him 150, you're going to make it back. The guy's a monster. In our team, he's a monster. I don't understand it, but I don't know. It's a business model, and regardless of what other people say about Manchester City, they do keep the spending within certain structures and wage structures, and they have lost out on players because of that. Yeah. Aubameyang, I can't say Aubameyang. Aubameyang, right? Well,
Oba, yeah.
He's a good player, you know what I mean? He just don't fit what I think we're about. And I do think there's a lot of agents touting things up and throwing it about. Yeah. But coming towards the end of this window with no striker, you know, we might end up having a panic one and then getting somebody. You just don't know.
Do you know what? This time last year, you was on the show. We were talking about Arsenal and Arteta. And I came away from that show thinking, all right, you know what? You might, because you was giving me some hope. You were saying this Arteta, this, that, the other. Now, mate, I've got no hope with this guy. I'm done. I don't want him at the club no more. I think he's tried his best. I think he's out of his depth.
Yeah.
How do you view Arteta from the outside now? Do you just think it hasn't worked for him?
Well, obviously last year was going on about the time, and I'm a great believer in the time. But I'm not going to come on here and disrespect you as an Arsenal fan and tell you what you need to do, because obviously you've given him a bit of time and you've seen it. But what I have said on the Big Six is, if you can see a direction where you're going and it's a positive one, and you can see little things and flashes of things that are starting to get right, then stick with it. Because if you can't and you think he's going down dead ends and it's getting a bit too much and you think, you know, we're going nowhere with it, then you're well within your rights to want rid of him. But what you've got to think is, you got rid of Emre for a novice manager. Now, in any job in the world, if you employ a novice, he's going to make mistakes. And the only time he becomes a successful manager is when he learns from his mistakes and he grows in the job. So you knew what he was appointing. It wasn't a quick fix. It was a novice manager. He never cut his teeth anywhere else. He was an assistant. He's come in there, and time is key. And in modern football, you don't get that time. Pep Guardiola come to Manchester City, the press put a horrendous pressure on him. But the City fans didn't, because we knew what was coming. Jurgen Klopp came in at Liverpool to so-called put pressure on him. But he lost a few finals. He didn't have great seasons, but they knew what was coming. Alex Ferguson at Man United, different era. Nottingham Forest, he had banners out, Fergie out. Mark Robbins saved his job. Little things like that. I'm not saying Arteta's going to do anything like that. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, if you sack him, you're back to square one. The new guy comes in with new ideas. He doesn't like half the players Arteta's bought. You've got to get rid of them. And it becomes that process then where, you know what I mean? It's just like a merry-go-round. You have a couple of spins on it, and then you jump back off, and then it stops, and you start again. That's all I was worried about with Arsenal. I just think sometimes you've got to bite the bullet and build something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I totally agree with you, because we haven't got owners like Man City or Chelsea where we can say, right, you know, next one, this, that, the other. But I just feel like with him, we're not going anywhere. We finished 8th 2 years in a row. I mean, you know yourself, you beat us twice last year, and those games were just walks in the park for City. Yeah. We're not even playing like a big club in a lot of these games.
No. It is frustrating. I mean, on paper, you've got some good players, and then the signings he's made, he's going for a bit of youthful signing. You've spent a lot of money, they've backed him now. Do you know what I mean? They've got to see something this season. We're talking on AFTV yesterday with the lads, and they reckon he's got about 6 games to prove it. Now, Turkish and the boys were saying the City game is a free game for him.
Free hit,
can do what he wants. Then you've got Norwich, Wolves. Is it Norwich and Wolves? And then
Norwich and Tottenham and Burnley.
Norwich, Burnley, and Spurs. Yeah. Now, I said if you lose against Man City, beat Norwich, beat Burnley, and then lose against Tottenham, does he get sacked? And they said, yeah. But then I said, if you lose against Man City, wins the next 3, he might get a chance, because a derby game and a derby win's always a good feeling for fans, and you do give someone a bit more time after it, don't you?
Yeah. No, he can't lose at home to Tottenham. He just can't. They haven't beat us at home for years as well. So, no. I mean, just quickly, what have you made of the signings? Because I've been frustrated with the signings that we've made. We've spent a lot of money, but at the moment, I don't feel like any of them improve us that much. They're not bad.
I don't think they improve you. I mean, Ben White coming in, yeah, I get that. He's young, England international now, potential. You bought the potential there, and because he's English as well, you're always going to pay big money for him. Yeah, I think he'll be a good signing for you. I think he needs to get in there, and he'll be a good signing. Yeah, Lokonga obviously was promising at Anderlecht. He's coming, looks like he's young and hungry. I don't think he's improved your team, but I just think he's give you a bit of an option, and I think he could become a good player. Tavares has came in relatively cheap and looked okay, to be fair. He's looked okay. Odegaard, you know about Odegaard. He came in last season. We know he's a good player. You know, he's just he seems to be one of these footballing nomads that floats about to different teams. He seems to have been around forever. So maybe he can get his hooks in at Arsenal, get bedded down there, and become a great player for him. The Ramsdale one was a bit weird for me, because I thought the money could have been spent elsewhere. You know what I mean? I didn't think we needed him, but I am a fan of Ramsdale as a goalkeeper. I think he is a good goalkeeper. You know, like you say, yeah, I think he's a good goalkeeper, me. But I just think it's not his fault he played behind the worst defence in the world, is it? You know what I mean? He only last man in defence, but against Arsenal, he played well the other night. I thought he played all right.
Yeah, he did all right. Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I just think the signings have been like, I think Jamie O'Hara mentioned it on TalkSport. He said Arsenal spent 130 million on a B team because nobody really stands out as like 100% guaranteed.
It's going to work,
top-notch player, you know what I mean? But I don't know. They seem to have gone in a different direction. I mean, for me, being brutally honest, looking at Arsenal on the outside, the whole place just looks like a mess. Because I came in the studio yesterday and I was looking at the pictures on the wall, and it brought back some mad memories of Arsenal from what
that's why I put this behind me, bro.
Yeah, and I was thinking, wow, man, how's it gone that bad? You know what I mean? But it can only get better, man. It can only get better.
Well, we hope. We said that last year, and it got worse. So. Oh, man. Looking ahead to the game, obviously we play you tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff. We have not got a good record in early kickoffs, but, you know, De Bruyne's out, obviously Mendy's out, and, you know, we haven't got Ben White or Thomas Partey, though. What are you thinking going ahead? Are you confident of a victory? Do you think he'll be comfortable, or how do you think the game might go?
I don't think it'll be comfortable. Excuse me. I think we struggle early on in the season, so the best time to play us is early. We lost to Tottenham last year, and we lost to Leicester heavily, but then we went on a run. I just think we've lost to Tottenham. We've had another week under our belt training. There's no De Bruyne, there's no Foden. But I'm expecting us to push on from the Norwich game. I'm expecting us to have enough to beat Arsenal. But I'll take a 1-0. I'll take a 2-0. I think it'll be 2-0 in the predictions. That's what I've said. But I'll take anything. I just want the 3 points. It's that crucial bit of the season where everyone's jostling for position and we don't want to be left behind. If we was to lose 2 defeats in the opening 3 games for us is unheard of, and it puts us on the back foot straight away. So I think I'm confident. I think we'll have enough in the tank to do it, and I think City win 2-0.
What have you made of Grealish? I know obviously he's only played a couple of games, but because there's been reports today, I think it's paper talk, but there's been reports about Sterling potentially to Arsenal. I don't see that happening. And I don't know if that was linked to Ronaldo coming in that Sterling would go. But could you see Sterling being sold?
I could see him being sold, yeah, because I think we've got a lot of players on that side now. We've got Foden there. We've got Grealish can play over there. Ferran Torres can play there. You know, Mahrez can go over there if he has to. We've got quite a few options in wide departments. So at the end of the day, I think that my thoughts at the end of the season was he's sacrificeable for us. If we had to buy a Kane, but we had to sell a player, I could sell Sterling. He's not done anything wrong. He's been fantastic for Man City, but I could see that happening. The way it's going with no striker, he came on the other day and he played in a 9. So whether Pep's got that up his sleeve and thinks, you know, Sterling could be the new striker, I don't know. But I was saying on to Turkish last night, if Arsenal broke the bank and got Raheem Sterling, I think he'd be an absolute brilliant signing for Arsenal.
You think?
I think he'd take you to the next level. Yeah, of course I do. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, they're saying 50 or 60 million. I think he's on quite a big wage as well. So
I think in today's market, he'll go for more than that. I don't think City let him go. Yeah, I think they'd let him go for more than that. We paid 50 for him. He's a better player now than when we bought him. He doesn't seem unhappy. They've offered him a new contract. For some reason, he's not signed it yet. But I just don't know. Towards the end of last season, he was a bit shaky. But then he had a good Euros. So he's come back. He's scored against Norwich coming off the bench. So, you know, it could be a good season for him. He could end up just staying. And you know, I wouldn't force him out of the club. But if we had to sacrifice somebody, him, Bernardo, for the striker, if we needed that money, then I'd do that.
Yeah. And do you think you need a Fernandinho replacement, or is Rodri, is he that guy, or do you need more of a ball winner in midfield?
I think they've got Rodri lined up as that man. He's not the same as Fernandinho, but we have a young kid, a Belgian kid in the under 23s, Lavea, I think he's called. We got him from Anderlecht, and he's very much in the Fernandinho mold. You know, he's small, he's aggressive. We have another young kid called Gomez that we signed from Paris Saint-Germain, but he's been playing him. Pep's been playing him at right back, I think, in the youth. He was a DM, so I think there's a couple of options there that he could use, but more pressing's the striker department. You know what I mean? That's for me is causing me a bit of an headache. It's definitely silly season on the transfers and online at the minute. It's not even worth going on, but we just need to get that deadline day. I just want to get that striker in.
Yeah, that's it, man. But from the outside, where do you think Arsenal will finish this season?
I think if you can get in the Europa League, it's been a great season. I think if he finishes just below, he might survive by the skin of his teeth again. But anything below that, it's game over. But I just think with the pressure that's going on at Arsenal with the owners and as soon as I just think he's fighting a losing battle there at the minute. I think, you know, he could go on a little run and nothing's said, but then he could lose one out the blue and everyone's on him. It's not a healthy place on and off the pitch to be at the minute, but you know, there's links with your boys with some Qatari owners as well. You know,
we need that oil, man. We need that oil.
You need it. Listen, you get that. I don't think it'll be long before something happens there. The club's too big. The size of it, the infrastructure, the heritage and everything, somebody's going to come in. There's a lot of wealthy Arsenal fans in this world. And if they're proper fans, they're not going to sit back for long and let this go on. You know what I mean? Something will happen, I think.
The thing is, you look at it and you think, a major club in London, we've got the stadium, we've got the training ground, we've got the fan base.
Yeah,
it's just you just need to invest into the team. It seems like you could turn Arsenal into a giant again if you put the money in.
Do you think though these people looking outside in look at the toxic, some of the toxic fan base and the way it's portrayed and that, and don't fancy it? Do you think the fan base could go against someone like that? Because when you look at Sheikh Mansour with Man City, there was no pressure. He came in. Who's Manchester United's rivals? Manchester City. They haven't won a trophy for 36 years. bang, we'll take them. They've just got a new stadium, Commonwealth Stadium. They've got all the land around it that we can develop. Let's do it. And they just did, everything looked good. I'll tell you another club that could get took over, West Ham. West Ham's the same. All that land around that stadium is prime land. They can turn that match day experience into multi-million pounds. And I won't be surprised that West Ham don't get took. But I think the Premier League's definitely growing year on year. The wages are getting higher. The revenues are getting higher. The brand itself's getting higher. So now's the time you're looking at a football club to get involved. Now, I can see Arsenal getting took over.
Mate, that's all we want right now. I'm telling you, we're desperate for that. Do you know what's funny, right? I've been to both Man City's grounds, the old one and the new one. The funny thing is, the first time I saw Man City, I went to watch Nottingham Forest because I'm a Nottingham boy, and it was hard for me to get Arsenal tickets. And we parked up in Moss Side because I think was the old training ground in Moss Side.
Yeah, it was in Moss Side, Platt Lane.
Yeah. And we walked to the ground, and funnily enough, Ian Wright was playing for Nottingham Forest. You might have been at the game.
Yeah, I would have been. Yeah,
I think City won 1-0. And then I went a few years later, and I think Arsenal won. Henry scored a volley. You had Schmeichel in goal. Scored a great goal. And then obviously I went to a new ground, and I just couldn't believe how you'd transformed. It wasn't just the stadium. It was the training ground. It was the fans and everything. I thought, this guy hasn't just, he's transformed your whole football club. And even when he eventually moves on, he's now created a giant of a club there and an infrastructure.
Well, his sons are all City fans now, and that you know the infrastructure is massive. He's not saddled the club with any debt. He's done it the right way. I mean, we're the press whipping boys at the minute. We get it from everywhere. Another 10 or 15 years, there'll be other teams who've just been invested in, who everyone's calling oil and everyone's calling no history and all that. Man City then will be established. They'll have Champions League trophies and everything will be forgotten about. It's just the way football is. But what Sheikh Mansour and Khaldoon and that have done for my club, coming from what I've watched, you know, and I'm fortunate because I've seen my team in the Premier League, the Championship, League One. I've seen them bounce between League One, the Championship. I've seen them get to the Prem, go back down and down again. I've seen all that, and I don't take any of it for granted, you know what I mean? All these people that say, oh, yeah, this, that, and the other, I don't take it for granted because I've done 20 years the hard way. And I was saying to Turkish, you guys, some of your fan base are not now watching Arsenal because they can't take the Arsenal at 8th in the Premier League. Now, when you listen to where I had to go and what I had to do, and now I had to question my loyalties for my club, if Arsenal was to get relegated to League One, there'd be 5,000 in that stadium.
Oh, they'd be gone, mate. They'd all be gone.
And that's what I'm saying. So people that criticise Manchester City fans about empty seats, you can call that all you want, mate, but we're a club that was getting 30,000 in Division 2. We've got an average fan base loyalty to the core of 40k, and we moved into a 54k stadium. So if there's 2,000 empty seats around, doesn't matter because the hardcore is still there. The heart of the club is still there. And when the club needed them, when we were on our knees, we couldn't get any lower. We didn't walk away. We stepped up. We bought the shit merchandise. We drank the beer. We bought the crap pies and all that. And we backed our club, hoping that one day someone would come in. And then we won the lottery, you know what I mean? We won the lottery, and I think we deserve it, you know what I mean? But it's what it is.
Do you know, obviously, this, I don't know how true this is, but I saw a story saying that Pep might go in 2023 and be a national team coach. Do you worry that City without Pep go down, or do you think they're so strong that as long as you appoint another good manager, they're established enough now?
Listen, we've been lucky. We've had Mancini, and he won us the league and the FA Cup. Then we went to Pellegrini, and he's won us the league and the League Cup. And then we went to Pep, and he's won all the trophies. So we've been lucky. But there's going to be a point in Manchester City's future where it's going to be a big transitional period because not every manager is going to get it right. So someone's going to come in with new ideas. It's not going to work. And then what's going to happen then, you're not going to finish in the top 4, or you might just finish outside the top 4. And then these City fans now that are jumping on the bandwagon, they're going to disappear, mate. And then that's when you're going to get your hardcore back. And that's the ones who are going to go through thick and thin until we get back up again. We know that. I'm expecting that. Life can't always be rosy in the garden. Even for the best teams in the world, the dominated periods end and it's transitional time. So I'm expecting it. We've seen it all before. You know, I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? It is what it is, but it's... Pep deserves to do what he wants. If he wants to go manage a national team, let him go. If he wants to go to Division 2 and prove to everyone that he's a great manager, go and do that. If he wants to retire, go and retire. Pep Guardiola is the greatest manager we've ever had, and he can do no wrong at Man City. The pressure's not on Pep to deliver. He's delivered enough. You know what I mean?
Do you think Pep's better than Klopp?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think he's better? What makes you think?
I just think he is. I just think he came in at Barcelona as a novice, same as Arteta. He was working with massive egos in a massive club, bigger than any club, yeah? He stuck to his task. He stuck to his philosophy of football. They were waving the white hankies to get him out. Johan Cruyff had to put a report in the paper to say back him. You know, he got rid of Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, Ibrahimovic, and he brought the good times back to Barcelona. It's all right saying you do it with Messi, but Messi's not won any more Champions Leagues since he left. Or did he win one with Enrique?
Won one with Enrique, yeah.
But like you say, he's not been dominating as it is. So you got to give Pep credit. He goes to Germany, yeah, massive pressure. He's not going into jobs, massive pressure. Goes into Germany. He delivers in Germany. He didn't win them a Champions League, but they cleaned up domestically. He changed the way they played. He was putting Philip Lahm in midfield. He was changing people to fullbacks. He was doing stuff they'd never seen. He come to the Premier League and he said, that ticky-tacky shit football can't work in the Premier League. It'll be found out. The first season, he had an aging squad. He had to stick with certain players, Gael Clichy, Zabaleta, Joe Hart, that he didn't really want. Second season, gets his players in. We did a Centurion season, never been done. And then they said, yeah, but can he win it back-to-back? So then he went the season after, he won it back-to-back, and he did a formidable season with the... He won every trophy in English football, which has never been done. So Jurgen Klopp, yeah, he won a Premier League with Liverpool and he's won a European Cup, but don't let him kid you. They bought Virgil van Dijk for massive money. They bought Alisson for massive money. And they had some great players in there, Salah and all that. But in my opinion, it's Pep. You get a Liverpool fan on here, he's going to tell you.
Klopp, yeah, naturally.
But listen, I just think when they're writing books or awards or they're doing programs in 10 years' time, they won't be doing programs on Jurgen Klopp's one Premier League and one European Cup. They'll be doing them on Pep Guardiola's whole football career.
Strong words. No, listen, I'm more of a Pep fan. I do rate Klopp, but I like Pep, his personality and the way he coaches people and that. It fascinates me, man. But obviously Arsenal. So you've gone for 2-0. You're going for a 2-0 victory. You going to the game, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to the game. Yeah, I'm going to try and catch up with Robbie and that after the game, see if we can get on the fan cams and that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just last week with football being back in general, I went to Tottenham the other week. It was disappointing. Then went to Norwich, and I'm going this week. So just to be football being back in my regular week is good. You know what I mean?
And just finally, so for that Champions League, do you think you've got to buy that big striker who can 100%
goal?
Do you think you should have kept Aguero for? Because it seems like for a team that plans everything so well, you would have thought if you're allowing Sergio to go, someone's coming straight through the door, and it seems like you're kind of.
Your guess is as good as mine. That's what we thought. This is why I'm thinking they've got something up the sleeve. They did it with the other summer. They was linked to Koulibaly at Napoli all summer. And then last minute, Ruben Diaz got signed. And there was no talk of Diaz. This has got similar vibes where we're getting linked with certain players and there's a few smoke screens going up and then all of a sudden. But the way this window's going, mate.
Could be anyone.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. But no, listen, Steve, really appreciate you coming on. And make sure I will put the link in the description for your YouTube channel. Make sure you go and subscribe. And we'll catch up after the game. Well,
after the game, mate, yeah.
Depends how it goes, man. I predict, you know what? I predicted 2-1 to City. I hate predicting against my own team, but
yeah,
the way we're playing, we've got players missing. We don't really handle you. The only time we've ever dealt with City is that FA Cup game, but apart from that, we just get walked all over.
Yeah, it's different. It's just a mad one, mate. It's a mad one. I just like I say, I'm not going to get on here yet and say we're steamrolling teams. I like to get the rhythm going before I'm that confident. I just want to get them points. So 1-0 will do me, 2-0 will do me. We just get them points and keep going with the rhythm.
Yeah. But yeah, Steve, big up for coming on. We'll catch up after the game.